Welcome to The Beam, where curiosity stirs conversations, taking us a step further into the future we desire. Here we bring you the issues that matter, the voices that challenge, and the insights that inspire. I'm Sunas Nathaniel, and now, before we get into today's powerful conversation, let's bring you a spotlight. Stick with us. It promises to be highly engaging. We'll be right back. Don't go away. In our spotlight today, the Director General of the National Board for Technology Incubation, Mr. Kazim Raji, says Nigeria is set to participate in the grand finale of the 2025 Next Gen Challenge, with 105 innovators selected from across health, agriculture, clean energy, amongst others. He disclosed this during a press conference in Abuja. According to the minister, the initiative signals a new era for Nigeria's innovation-driven economic transformation. He also noted that the opportunity will elevate Nigeria's most brilliant minds and attract foreign direct investments into the country.
This monumental initiative, powered by MBTI in partnership with UCAD London, signals a new era for Nigeria's innovation-driven economic transformation and places Nigeria at the forefront of global innovation diplomacy. Next Gen Innovation Challenge is a national movement and not just a competition. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be emphatically clear. The Next Gen Innovation Challenge is not merely a competition, it is a national movement. It is a bold, ambitious, and coordinated effort to connect grassroots ingenuity with global capital, to match local innovation with international collaboration, and to catalyze a new generation of entrepreneurial problem solvers powered by vision, excellence, and global ambition.
Welcome back. Today we're leaving behind the noise of politics and entering right into the engine rooms of power, financial centers, from Lagos to London. These are the spaces where decisions about trade, technology, and data shape the future of entire nations. Our focus, how these finance centers determine Nigeria's future and whether we have what it takes to compete globally in an age of AI, big data, and the rapidly evolving technology. Joining me is a leading voice in this space, a data and AI leader and board member of the Data Lab Scotland. He brings a global perspective to the technology and finance intersections. My guest today is none other than the British Nigerian, Mr. Abo Abel. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Shin. It's really good to see you again.
Yes, I mean, it's good to have you back. It had to be you because you play in the spheres of, from financial sector, aviation, defense. You're virtually in those very major spaces. And then you're very big when it comes to data and AI, both in the UK, in Nigeria, Africa, globally, basically. So let's take it to the people. We want the people to understand what we are really talking about. So let's start from the big picture. What role will international financial centers like, London, New York, Dubai, what role will they play in shaping the future of countries like Nigeria? That's where we're starting today.
I mean, thank you so much. Really good to have you, and thanks for this, having the opportunity to talk about this. Financial centers play a major role. These cities that you just called, these are global cities. London is a global city. New York is a global city as well. And even Dubai, these are striving cities as well. And for us, obviously, in Nigeria, we've got a very unique opportunity where we've got a major city, a mega city called Lagos. And I think that for Lagos State to really get to that uprising, we've got to learn a thing or two from these major cities as well. Lagos can learn a lot from Dubai. We don't have to copy Dubai. Lagos can learn a lot from London, and we don't have to copy London. Lagos can learn a lot from New York as well. And the reason for that is that because we're quite unique as well. And I think Lagos can become an international financial center and a powerhouse in Nigeria. And not just in Nigeria, but in Africa. I totally believe that 100%.
Yeah, okay. I mean, when we talk about Lagos, as that potential financial hub, what real foundations need to be laid and put in place, for it to compete globally with people like, there in London, people over there in Dubai? What needs to be put in place?
I think that's a great question. I think I'm glad to say that Lagos is on the journey to become an international financial center. I think Lagos is also one of the international financial centers in Africa at the moment. So I think firstly is infrastructure. We need to put in place good infrastructure. I think that's really important. The next thing is we need to put in place solid regulations. I think that's absolutely important. I mean, skills and obviously expertise is something that we need to put in place, you know. And for those of us that is in diaspora at the moment, I think we need to think about how we can come back, you know, to support. And for me, I operate in the City of London. How can I come back to Nigeria in order to use my skills and my expertise to support Nigeria to become an international financial center? I think so. Expertise and skills and experience, I think, is really, really important. So for those of us that operate in the City of London or in New York as well, I think that's absolutely critical. So I would say skills, I would say experience, I would say infrastructure, and I would say lastly regulations. And I think when we can do those three things, certainly Lagos will certainly be able to compete across the globe as well.
Now, it's good you've said that. Let's go to one of those places where you really try. When it comes to data, data is often called that new oil. It's the new oil of this generation, right? So how does data ownership, sovereignty, and AI-driven, decision-making impact Nigeria's chances of competing globally? And where do you see us right now when it comes to that journey?
I mean, I'm glad that you said data is the new oil. I would always argue that data is the infrastructure. I think data is beyond oil. Data is the infrastructure where everything is built upon, where decisions are made. And I think for us, basically, one of the great things we have is that we're creating loads of data. I always say that to Nigeria. Nigeria is creating loads of data. Just, when people transfer money, you can go on an Uber, you can go on the both. Most times you definitely transfer money from you to the driver. People transfer money in different shape and form as well. So we definitely create data. And I think it's for us to make sure that this data is stored in Nigeria, is kept in Nigeria, because we need to make sure that the data sovereignty is owned by us. So our data centers will be created in Nigeria, so that our data is locally stored in Nigeria. And so that we can make the data available for people. So we can make the data available for fintech, we can make the data available for agri-tech, we can make the data available for other techs as well to use to create solutions for us. And I think it's really, really important. So we've got to capitalize our data. Of course, data is the new infrastructure, and you can argue that it's the new oil. I wouldn't argue with you on that, but I think we need to use our data very well. And I think it's really, really important. So that data needs to be stored in country and be used in the country as well. I think that's the point I would like to make quite quickly.
Are you certain right now that it is really possible for us to store our own data, use it and utilize it properly on our own without dependence on anybody from anywhere globally? Are you sure it is possible, or are we just dreaming? Is it just utopic?
I think it's not. It's not. I think we can. The infrastructures is there. We've got great organizations. We've got the Galaxy backbone as well, supporting the government from an NDA perspective as well. We've got other private institutions as well. There are other data centers as well. The great thing about Nigeria is that we can store data from the north, from places like the Jos and all the rest. We can build data center even in the south as well. We've got great climate, we've got the land, we've got the infrastructure. I think we just need to capitalize it as well and make the infrastructure investment that's needed. I don't see the reason why we need to store our data in somewhere in Europe or somewhere in the south of Africa or somewhere in America. I think we've got the capability. I think it's just about making sure that we own those skills, and we definitely have the right regulation that is really important. I'm so glad that the Minister of the Digital Economy is talking the laying of the internet cables and all. We need that. Beyond, we just need the policy that will work, that data centers can be created. I'm in the UK at the moment. In the UK at the moment, one of the strategies that the UK government is deploying is what we call growth zones. And in those growth zones, they can create data centers as well. So up in Scotland, in the middle of England, and even the south of England as well. So I think we need to do that for ourselves. I think that's really important.
All right. Fintechs in Lagos are booming, basically Paystack, Flutterwaves, and all the others. The question then becomes, in the same way we're talking data, is there a possibility for these startups, to really push into the same league as the things we're seeing, over there in London, Singapore, and all the rest? Is there really that possibility for this, upcoming businesses, the startups, to really push further to get to that height? You really think it's viable?
It is. I think it's viable. Like I mentioned initially with you, if we can get the infrastructure right, if we can get the regulation right, if we can get the talent right as well, we can compete with any of those global centers, not just global centers, but also international centers. I think one of the things that done and also is to show also well. I think for me, when I look at for the fintech and then more current on 111, we can do better. We can do better with the African as well. And all the sector is great coming into Nigeria, but we don't need to really on our auras. We need what we can have. So Abuja is doing really well. Kigali is doing really well as well. Nairobi is doing really well. Cape Town is doing really well as well. But we need to really work hard to push those things. And I think we can. Absolutely, we can compete. We've got great talent up and down the countries, not just in the country, but across the diaspora. And I think that's something that we've got to work collaboratively to deliver for Nigeria. And I believe that 100%.
All right, just before we go on a break, if we look at the trade finance, the small, medium business enterprises and exporters, importers, and all the rest, how can AI, and technology remove the barriers that have really kept Nigeria and the economy out of the global mainstream? How do we start to incorporate it right now in the real sense?
I think that's a great question. I think we certainly can use data and AI to drive that, within the trade, even with the trade ecosystem as well. So, for example, let's just use the port. The port is where goods normally leave. So we're talking about the shipping port or the airport as well in terms of the freight as well. And I think we can use AI in order to unlock some of the bottleneck as well. So, for example, just clearing of things into the country or making sure that things are out ready to go out of the country as well. We can use artificial intelligence. Why not? We're talking about system. We're talking about technology here. We can use that to create things like duties as well so that people can understand, what is in the system, what is in the duties and how much they need to pay and how much they need to clear those things as well. Certainly we can do that. And I so much believe in that. So, for example, most countries right now are using e-customs, and I don't see the reason why we're not going to be using e-customs in our port as well. Even, for example, let's just use airline at the moment. So now I saw that the minister is using the e-gate as well. And credit to that. Why not? We should have e-gate in all our international airports, right? And e-gate is all obviously an interaction between data and technology as well. And I think these things can definitely reduce the bottleneck so that people can come into the country easily and people can live easily as well. And not just people, but also goods and services. And I think that's something that we need to embrace. So we need to embrace using data, using technology, but fundamentally we've got to look for ways to use artificial intelligence. I think that's absolutely critical.
Just in 30 seconds. Why is it critical that Nigeria, perhaps Lagos, works assiduously to become the financial nerve center of Africa? I mean, that can really, compete globally. Why is it very important for Nigeria, actually? Why is it very important?
Money makes the world go round. That's the answer to that question. You said 30 seconds. Money makes the world go round. And if Lagos is not connected into the international financial, system, and then definitely Nigeria would definitely be in a disadvantage. The central bank is doing a great job as well, under the leadership of Cardoso and his team. So definitely money makes the world go round. And if you want to talk about infrastructure, you need money. If you want to talk about technology, you need money. If you want to talk about schools, you need money. If you want to talk about security, you need money. Everything is about money. So I think money makes the world go round. And that's the reason why Lagos, not just Lagos, but also other states across Nigeria should be able to have the ambition to become an international financial center. So we just don't need to have Lagos as one. For example, in South Africa, we've got Johannesburg and also Cape Town as well. And I think that other places in Nigeria, so it could be Kaduna, it could be somewhere in the east as well, or in the south as well. So we should be able to create those ambitions. And I think it's really important.
All right, we'll be taking a break right now. You're watching The Beam, a place where the old is reckoned with, the future is interrogated, and power is held to purpose. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm in conversation with Abo Abel, data and AI leader and board member of Data Lab Scotland. We're unpacking how international financial centers from Lagos to London are shaping Nigeria's future and the critical role that data, AI, and trade must continue to play if we are to be part of the future of the global economy. Let's continue from where we stopped, Mr. Abo. Let's go to AI again, just a little bit. What really would AI do if you had one thing to use AI for right now when it comes to this discussion? What would you really want it to do for us?
I think for me, AI can enable us to ensure that we produce things, so there's two aspects to this, consumption and productivity. AI can enable us to produce things very quickly and better. And I think that's something we need to focus on. Nigeria also, we consume things a lot, but from the productivity aspect, we can use artificial intelligence to increase our productivity. I'm so glad that the country, obviously, GDP has increased in the last report. And I think that we can do more with artificial intelligence to improve our productivity, because that's where the growth sits as well. And I think with Nigeria needs much productivity rather than much consumption as well.
All right, there are trust issues when it comes to our polity, the economy, and everything that has to do with us as a nation. There are trust deficits here and there. And the question then becomes, for the ordinary Nigerian, who really benefits if Lagos or some other cities around the nation becomes a financial, stronghold, a financial center that is competing globally? Who really will benefit? The masses, the elites, who really will benefit?
I think both, certainly. The masses and the elite will benefit. So let's just take an example, the capital market. The capital market, certainly the elite will benefit because they've got loads of money, but certainly the ordinary people will benefit in there as well. Because I think just about yesterday, I listened to the SEC, the DG for this Security Exchange Commission, talking about young people investing in the capital market. And I think that's something absolutely. So when you invest in there, you definitely benefit as well. So I think that both will definitely benefit. And for me, a thriving economy is where both people are benefiting. So the elite and also the ordinary people as well. And I think finance is a great place where people can certainly invest in for a long term, in the medium term, and then they definitely cash out. And I think that's really important. So, I would certainly encourage what Lagos State is doing in terms of building the ambition to become an international financial center. But also, I would also encourage the government to support Lagos State in order to ensure that Lagos State strive as well. And at the moment, unfortunately, in my opinion, Lagos State are just slight back in terms of the global ranking of the global financial index. However, Lagos State can position itself to become one of the African hub. And I believe that 100% because we have everything that it takes for us to succeed.
Well, what would it take then? What would it take for Nigeria to lead Africa into that future where finance, trade, and technology truly work together beyond just what we see on paper? What would it take?
I said initially, first I think it's talent. We've got the people, we've got the human resources. I think that's really important. We're people with great ambition as well. I think we need to tell our stories very well. And I think we don't need to allow our stories to be told by others. So we need to tell our stories. So we need to go out there to the global centers to tell our stories very well. I'm so glad that I think just about 2 years ago, Lagos State participated in the Lord Mayor Show in the City of London, which happened every November. I think we need to tell our stories. We need to go out to those centers and talk about why we are good and what we do and what we're trying to do as well, and articulate that. And the next thing is, I think, is infrastructure. I think we need to build great infrastructure and not just roads. When people build roads, the question is, why are you building road? Are you building road for people just to go around their business? Or are you building roads to connect people? And when you connect people, why are you connecting people? I think you're connecting people for people to transact, to have great experiences as well. And I think those infrastructure needs to happen. So when we talk about infrastructure, we're not just talking about road, we're talking about air infrastructure, we're talking about also sea infrastructure as well. I think those things need to happen. I think finally, regulation. Regulation is so important. People need to trust the financial system. People need to trust the central bank. People need to trust that whatever they say, they do. And I think that's really important. And finally, if people then default or people then, they're bad players in them, definitely they take them to court. We've got an EFCC that is striving, taking people to court, and I think these things really matters as well. So once we have those 4 things I've just talked about, I think we'll be doing really, really well. And I want to encourage the government as well to ensure that those things are pursued very, very seriously, because that's what makes like I said, money makes the world go round. And I'm not saying that in a very cheeky way. I'm saying that because, for you to do good roads, for you to do infrastructures, for you to do all those great things as well, I think it all costs money. So I think we need to pursue that quite seriously.
All right, so one major problem, we've talked about right now, one major problem that will be faced will be cybersecurity. Where are we right now when it comes to cybersecurity, and where do we need to go? What do we need to put in place? Do we have what it takes to really protect ourselves against those attacks when we start growing as a financial nerve center, as a very strong powerhouse when it comes to finances? What do we need to do right now?
I mean, cybersecurity is great. The good thing at the moment is that we've got talented people across the diaspora as well. There's absolutely Nigerians working within the cybersecurity spaces as well. And one of the key things I want to also encourage the Nigerian government as well to ensure that we've got cybersecurity in terms of our tertiary institutions. So in our universities, people can absolutely go and study cybersecurity as a business, as a capability as well. I think it's really important. We need to protect our infrastructure. We don't need other countries to protect our infrastructure for us. I think we need to have the skills and the expertise that is needed. Cybersecurity is a great one. Currently, at the moment, you can hear the story about Jaguar Land Rover as well. They were attacked, and as a result, they are unable to, create or produce new cars as well. You saw the stuff that happened across Europe as well at the airports as well. And I think cybersecurity is a great thing. So the government needs to ensure that we're building that capability, and that could happen under the Office of the National Security Advisor as well, in collaboration with also tertiary institutions. In our financial system, we need to make sure that our financial system is quite robust. And I've got no doubt that the CBN, under the leadership of Cardoso and the team as well, is ensuring that as well. So I think we need to do that. We need to do more of that, because everything at the moment in this dispensation is technology. Technology is actually the driving and changing the way we live our lives. And so we need to have this cybersecurity capability to protect ourselves. And I think it's a national security issue as well. And I think we need to make sure that it's rightly positioned in the right way as well.
Well, all things being equal, I mean, this will be the last question before I let you go. All things being equal, how long do you think it will take us for us to catch up first and then become real equals with these powerhouses across the world? In your projection, in your research, how long do you think it will take?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't have the answer to that, but what I've said that if we can sustainably do things in the next decade, certainly we can come up quite strongly as well. Nigeria is quite critical in the whole global system as well. And I think that from the projection, from the International Monetary Fund as well, the World Bank as well, and every other players as well, I think it's really important to say that by 2050, before 2050, there's going to be a change. And I think Africa certainly is positioned, and Nigeria is absolutely positioned. So I think what we do now in terms of the infrastructure we build now, and also the things that we put in place now, would help us to make sure that we capitalize on that by 2050. However, from now to 2030, I think is absolutely critical. So we need stability, and we need a strong leadership. And I think those are the things that we need as well, and ensuring that we work with the diaspora to ensure we attract diasporas back into Nigeria to support and put their hands in the plow to build Nigeria quite successfully. And I think if we do those things, we certainly will be striving, and we have the right principles and the right policies, and not just that, but we have the right infrastructure in place to ensure that Nigeria is a country that everyone can be reckoned with across the world. And I think we can do it. Absolutely. I've got no doubt about that. I'm absolutely optimistic of that.
Yes, we can do it. We must thank you, Abu Abel, for your candor and for coming with such, big insights when it comes to this very important topic. We're hoping to talk to you very soon.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a wonderful day. Do appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Yes, that's it on The Beam today. We'll be leaving you with our top 5 videos of the week. I'm Sunas Nathaniel, and as always, we urge you to stay composed, stay curious, stay informed, and keep beaming your light where it matters the most. May this nation continue to rise and flourish. Bye for now. This week we begin the countdown with a clip from Sunday Politics, where the Dangote-Pengasson face-off was discussed alongside Tinubu's economic policies. In fourth place, the Dangote-Pengasson issue continues, with Governor Abdullahi Sule stating that the world will make a mockery of Nigeria if Dangote refinery is shut down. Coming third on our countdown this week, Governor Alex Oti of Abia State says IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu will regain his freedom in no distant time. In second place, we have the full national broadcast of President Bola Tinubu in commemoration of Nigeria's 65th Independence Day celebration. Coming top of our list this week is a clip in which we see President Tinubu burst into laughter at a book launch following a comment in reference to his Emilokon slogan.
You showed your courage and your boldness, and you came out and said, Emelekon. That is a president.
That's it on our countdown today. Join us next week for more viral videos.